All right. All right. How's everyone doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Wow.
Good. How about
Doing
Good.
well.
yourself?
Doing all right. Thanks. Thank you. Appreciate it. So we're gonna have a conversation tonight. We have a lot of ground to cover. So just kind of give you a rundown of the show. Um, I'm gonna go over some ground rules. Following that, we'll talk. We'll sort of introduce ourselves to one another, and then we'll talk about a number of topics. And yeah, and then your evening will be wrapped up. So again, want to appreciate everyone for taking the time out. If you have any, questions or concerns along the way, we ask that you hold them until the end, unless they're technical, at which point we'll try to support you. Um, and we'll go ahead and get started. So, my name is Jamel. I'm an independent moderator. So, I don't work for the folk who recruited you. My goal here is to ask you all some questions. And I want you all to know that there are no right or wrong answers. This is a space for you all to share freely, to share openly, and to share honestly. So, whether it's positive or negative, whether you feel like it might be a controversial opinion or whether it's just something that's on your mind, feel free to share open and honestly. Of course, being respectful to one another. So, because we do have a lot of information to cover, there may be times where I cut you off just so that we can move forward. I ask that you don't take that personal, but also there may be times that I want to make space for others to share their opinions and thoughts as well. So if we could all just be respectful, speak one at a time, and really just ensure that this space is free enough for everyone to share how they would like. Um, I also want you to know that I do have some folk watching this with us, and so that's just so that we're recording this, and we do have some folk watching, and that's just so that we can accurately capture what your thoughts are, so that we're not solely relying on written notes, and also so that folk can contribute to the conversation if need be. So if you see me looking to the side or anything, it's just to sort of get comments from my colleagues. I'm not on my phone or distracted or anything of that sort. And lastly, if you could all, for the sake of just our ability to hear one another, if you could make sure that you're in a quiet location, that you turn your phones off, and please, some of the topics may be factual or may involve facts or things like this happening as in terms of current events. Please don't Google or sort of do research on the side. We're really interested in what you all have to think, and not necessarily, us being distracted by other media devices or things like that. Do you all have any questions about anything that I've covered?
No.
All right, thank you. So we're going to get started with an icebreaker and a quick introduction. So when I call on you, please state your first name so that we can pronounce it correctly, and where you're calling from and what your dream vacation is. So I'll go first. My name is Jamel, calling in from Ohio, and my dream vacation is to go to Cabo. Let's go to Regina.
Hi, my name's Rajiv. You said my name already. I'm calling from Brooklyn, New York, and my favorite vacation would be, I don't know, Hawaii.
Okay, great. Thank you, Regina. Jashawn.
My name is Jay Sean. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and Tulum will be my dream vacation.
Okay. Thank you, Jay Sean. Montrese.
My name is Montrese. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and my dream vacation would be Egypt.
Okay, Egypt. Thank you for that. Malik.
Hey, my name is Malik. I'm calling from Houston, Texas, and my dream vacation would be Colombia or Ecuador.
Okay. Thank you, Malik. Ashley.
My name is Ashley. I'm calling in from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and my dream vacation would be Cape Town, South Africa.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ashley. Jonathan.
Hey, I'm Jonathan from Georgia, Metro Atlanta, Georgia. Guess vacation I like to go to Japan.
Okay. Japan. And Brandon.
Hey, the name's Brandon. Stay in Long Beach, California, and dream vacation would be Brazil.
Okay. Brazil. And last but not least, is it Elgin or Elgin?
It's Elgin.
Okay.
My name's Elgin. I'm calling in from North Potomac, Maryland, and my dream vacation is probably Aruba.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing, everyone. And again, thank you for the correct pronunciations of your name. So we are going to go ahead and get started. Before we begin, however, I'm going to present some questions to you on the screen that I'd like you all to answer. So I'm going to put the first question on the screen here. And I want you to please rate the amount of political power that you feel you have personally on a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 means you have no political power at all, and a 10 means you have a lot of political power. Okay. Okay. So does anyone have a score less than 5? Show of hands. Okay, we see Montrese, Malik, Ashley. Let's hear from you, Montrese. Why do you feel that way?
Wow, where to start? I think mostly just from experience and seeing, the outcomes of certain things, and also just paying attention to dialogue throughout, whether that's like social media or other news, and then feeling like a majority is one place, just to realize the outcome or the vote is different. And then also with AI and the social media campaigns, I also feel like it's kind of taken away from the political power we'd like to believe we have.
Okay. Thank you for sharing, Montrese. Ashley?
It's more so with like how the electoral college is set up. It's like the first amount to get to a certain party wins. So it doesn't matter if you're rooting for one party over the other. It's who can fill up those seats first. Yeah. So.
Okay. So I'm hearing sort of less influence because of the media landscape and electoral college concerns. What about you, Malik?
So I think that a lot of political figures are mostly controlled by money, and just a lot of people with power and influence are kind of like the same people that continue to have the power and influence. Like, it's not like the younger people can get to reach their level. It's kind of like the same people are in charge for like forever.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Malik. Show of hands, how many of you chose a score higher than 5? Okay, so we have Brandon, Elgin, and Jay Sean. Let's hear from you, Elgin.
Yeah, I think political power is more than like whatever Donald Trump is doing in DC, like 10, 15 miles from me. There's so much that happens on a local level that people don't even pay attention to or know about. Off your elections, you elect judges, you elect city council members. I've had tangible examples in my own life of me voting for a particular council member that has voted for legislation that literally created a pot of money that allowed me to put a down payment on a home, right, for first-time home buyers. So I've seen that. I also have had experiences where a family of mine have been the beneficiary of restorative justice initiatives that have happened in the state of Maryland and even locally within Montgomery County. And I think that some of the work that I've done to support candidates, particularly Black candidates like Wes Moore in Maryland, is the direct result of my support. I see that in the world and in people's lives that I know.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing. We're going to move forward just a little bit, and I'm going to show you another question similar to the one that you've just seen. And I want you to rate the amount of political power that you feel Black people have in this country right now on a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 means Black people have no political power at all, and a 10 means Black people have a lot of political power.
That's a hard one.
Okay. All right. So, show of hands, how many of you selected a score above 5? So we have Brandon, Jay Sean, and Elgin. Let's and then let's actually see the other half of this sort of too. How many of you selected a score below 6? Okay. All right. Let's hear from Jay Sean. You tell me about the score you selected and a little bit about your thoughts.
I selected 7, and the reason I selected 7 is because I feel like a lot of people don't understand, like, from the perspective of history, Black people kind of shape the way that the Congress are moving now. So, like, the things that they want to change are based off of the things that we already impacted. So it's kind of like we could start the same fires and like be disruptive if we wanted to, and really show how much power we really have. But we actually don't. We actually are trying to get in those same rooms and those same seats and do it properly. And that's why I feel like we have a lot of power right now. We're just really going about it the right way.
Okay. And let's hear from Brandon.
Yeah, so I also chose 7, and part of it is actually what Deshaun was just saying is that, historically we have shaped a lot of the ways in which certain structures or figures have been established, and the reaction from the other parties recognizing that, any bit of power that they and influence that they have, they're making huge changes, not just for themselves, but for the groups. And even now, there's more Black politicians, there's more Black judges, more Black professionals in every tier in society, and there just continues to be a lot of resistance to that. So I think it's present. It's not always consolidated and focused in the right way, but it's definitely way more than nothing.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing, Brandon. Regina, what are your thoughts? Tell me about your score and what makes you feel that way.
My score was a 5, so I was like mixed. I was thinking like maybe we do have some power because there are some more Black people that are being represented in like the Supreme Court and like some other places too. But I'm just kind of mixed. Like I'm not really sure if we have a lot of power, and I'm not really sure if we do have a lot. That's what I can say.
Okay. Okay. We're going to move forward just a little bit. I'm going to show another question for you all. And I want you to choose a score on a scale on a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 means you definitely will not vote and 10 means you will definitely vote. How likely you are to vote in the midterms in 2026? Okay. All right. Thank you for that, everyone. And we're going to move forward just a little bit more. I'm going to show you another question. I'm sorry. Actually, before I show you a question, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want to take the temperature on this. So I'm going to say a sentence, and I want you to fill in the blank for me. I feel blank about the way that things are going in the country these days. I feel blank about the way things are going in the country these days. I want you all to fill in the blank for me.
Shitty.
Nervous.
Okay. Nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Scared.
Confused. Yeah.
Scared. Confused.
Yeah.
Motivated.
Anxious.
Okay. What's making us feel that way?
President Trump.
Yeah.
It's reactionary.
Problem.
It's reactionary politics, reactionary culture. It's never gone away. It's just enjoying another peak. And so, while things look very bleak and there has been a lot of damage and there will continue to be damage, it's something you got to fight, head on, just like in the other time it's popped up.
Okay. So Brandon, you're if I'm hearing you correctly, you're seeing this as just a repeat of an ongoing trend, an ongoing pattern.
Yeah, I wouldn't say repeat. I mean, it's more like an iteration, but it's something that's just always present within society. And now it's right now it's just enjoying a moment of really being of really flaring up, and getting to one of its more extremes, which it just it demands the same reaction from the other side. Otherwise, it's never going to stop.
Okay. I believe I heard Montrese, you shared what is your word? Anxious?
I was nervous,
Nervous?
actually. Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about?
Just from, I won't say like I am deeply political correct or know everything. And I feel like that also brings a lot of uncertainty to my nervousness. And just reading, I like to read the articles when they hit my phone, and hearing the things that are trying to take place or the bills that are trying to get moved, and not knowing the possibility of it happen causes me nervousness. And then hearing things like, it might turn into a dictatorship, or he's trying to take away what, the president's power, or not take it away, but expand it, shall I say. And I guess just that nervousness of it getting worse with him, Trump, as in him in office, and then having the House be majority, and just the things I've seen lately just really makes me nervous.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Montrese. So I'm hearing a lot of feelings that you've all shared, and some of you have shared some more on those feelings. What's the top issue that you're all concerned about these days?
The economy.
Can you say a little bit more about that?
Yeah, these tariffs seem just irrational. The reason for them changes. So it just seems sort of like a whim of his. They're also doing other things like cutting biotech, medical funding, educational funding. And even if you don't care about being in college or supporting those institutions, college towns and surrounding suburbs and so many things feed into that funding. So it just feels like the whole economy is just being gutted in a way that we've never seen before.
Okay. Elgin, how do you feel about how Black people are affected by that?
I think Black people are majorly affected by it. I think we're going to see a lot of HBCUs close because funding is going to be cut. Other universities are going to be closed down. Black women are the most educated population in America statistically. And so that's going to make it harder for people like us to get degrees and get education to move up in the workforce.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Let's hear from others. What's the top issue that you're concerned about these days? And are others concerned about the economy? Brandon?
So yeah, I mean, economy is definitely a concern. I mean, there's reason to be concerned for every element with what's going on. But for me, it's the abuse of law enforcement and deployment of military, and especially in domestic matters. Whether it's the situation going on in D.C. or whether it's the situation back in Texas, where the Republicans are not allowing certain Democratic other politicians to leave without a permission slip and a police escort. Them activating ICE and other agencies down here in Southern California and other states with ICE. So for me, that's the main thing: the militarization of law enforcement and deployment of military in cities.
Okay.
For me, it's the blatant racism is not as covert anymore. It's out there. Like today, the news was saying how President Trump wanted to remove he didn't like the African American Smithsonian Museum because they were mentioning slavery. He wants to get rid of that. He's removing the books from the schools and the libraries, and things like that. So it kind of makes you wonder, how far will this go? Right now he's getting rid of immigrants, but what about the foundational Black Americans? I mean, is he going to deport us at some point? Is he going to go back to slavery? Things like that. Because he's out there with it. He's not he's not like he's really not trying to hide his racism. So I think that's my worry.
Okay. Do others share similar feelings as Ashley or other issues that folk have mentioned?
Yeah, certainly.
Definitely one of my worries
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how are you all feeling about our democracy?
It's going down
Yeah.
the tank.
It's
Yeah,
been a
it's not
scam. I
good.
hate to say it, like it's been a scam. It's designed like that. It never was. It never was meant to do what they said it was gonna do. So it's like surprising but unsurprising at the same time.
Okay. Do you all feel that Black people are particularly affected right now in our democracy?
For sure. I mean, gerrymandering, what's happening in like red states, and they're trying to increase that. It's literally specifically targeted to like segment off Black communities so that we have less of a vote, less congressional members.
Oh, and another thing, Trump he wants to get rid of I'm sorry to cut you off, the ballots, because what you were saying, like the ballots for voting,
Yeah,
he
mail in.
wants everybody to come in and do it in person. And there are people in the urban areas who don't have cars, older senior citizens who necessarily can't get to the voting booths and things like that. People who live in rural America as well. So it's trying to prevent us from voting is what he's trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, we're always to some degree in the line of fire, whether there's, elections coming up, midterms or whatever. That's just a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week thing.
Okay. All right, thanks for sharing, everyone. We're going to move forward just a little bit. I'm going to put another question on your screens. And I would like to know, what letter grade would you give Democrats? And you can answer A through F.
I'll say.
Okay. Let's hear from Malik. Tell me about your grade.
I said it's the letter C, but I'm not really sure. I don't really know like any main historic moments that the Democrats directly influenced, but just in general, I feel like if Democrats were like in power for the last, let's say, a decade, I feel like some things that in my vision of, I guess, the country, and if that's the party that Black people mainly lean on, I feel like they didn't really like perform as like we were hoping, and like to get an A grade, but they're still kind of the best we can do. So that's why I put a C.
Okay. Let's hear from one more of you. I see Ashley, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, I gave them a D because I agree with what he said. It's like they do just enough, just at the bare minimum to get the vote. It's almost like they're like the opposing side. They kind of hide it a bit, but because they want our vote, they're willing to do just a little bit more, but just a little bit more to get it. But yeah, they do just the bare minimum just to appease us.
Okay.
They're not even for reparations, and they've told us that several times. But we believe we deserve it, right? Because we do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing. We're going to move forward just a little bit, and I'm going to show you another question this time. And I'd like to know the letter grade that you would give Republicans.
Is there anything lower than an F?
Okay. Show of hands, how many of you gave them an F? Okay. For those of you who gave them a grade other than an F, let's hear from you, Montrese.
It was just the grade above. But I know I can't say honestly in the most recent elections, but I know in the past I've seen or I have agreed with the view of a Republican politician versus the Democratic one, or the Democrat. But I wouldn't like just say they're so much more amazing because there are a lot of views and themes within that party that I don't agree with heavily, but it wouldn't be a fair score just to like give them a complete F because I know of things that I have kind of understood or might have voted on instead.
Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing. I'm going to put another question on your screen. And this time I'd like to know what letter grade you would give Donald Trump. Okay. Let's hear from you, Jay Sean.
I gave him a D. The reason I gave him a D is because I feel like a lot of presidents don't come in and actually move so fast with aggression to get stuff changed. And I feel like it's actually shocking the world and making the world focus. Like, yeah, he's doing a lot of terrible moves, but we've had, even our option and our opportunity to get into office, and we wasn't really pushing stuff as fast as we should have. And it kind of shows you like, hey, we can speak up all day, but we also can take advantage of what we have here that is rightfully in our possession right now. And he's showing us like what he has power over, being the president.
Okay. What if anything at all has surprised you all about the Trump presidency so far?
I'm just so surprised about how reckless he's been with the economy. In my mind, like money is like the thing that white people care about the most and Republicans care about the most. And I think even a lot of his donors have lost like a ton of revenue. So I've been surprised at how, just reckless he's been with the tariffs and all of the economic stuff.
Okay. Brandon, let's hear from Brandon and then Monteith.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that his first term was bad enough, but there were kind of these guardrails up with more established figures who were just like, we want the same end goal, but you're going about it the wrong way. Now that he's, saying gotten rid of all the guardrails essentially, and it's still not been very, he's been effective in messing things up, but not effective in achieving, his goals, which in the long run is a benefit to us.
Okay. Montrese?
I think mine is a little more specific. That's just been shocking with the attempt to pass that 14-year-olds are considered adults or should be considered adults. And I haven't gotten in depth on that. That was just a quick little article I read, or maybe a post actually that I came across. And I think that has unsettled my stomach the most out of anything, especially having a child. So I don't think that would be the most shocking for me, at least.
Okay. What do you all think allowed Trump to win the most recent presidency?
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He was able to buy his way
like
in.
the lack of education of like the main population of the USA. Yeah.
I agree with both Ashley and Malik. I think they're connected.
Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk controls social media. There's a lot of misinformation. I've been hit with it, right? I think some issues are definitely important and I care about, like Gaza and the genocide, but the way things are presented to people who maybe don't have the skill set and critical thinking skills, they glob onto everything's the same, false equivalencies. And so even people that voted on that one issue, Gaza, Trump is letting Netanyahu do whatever he wants. Trump stopped all aid into Israel and into Gaza. You can say what you want about Joe Biden, and I disagree with how he handled it overall, but at least people were getting tampons and food and rice and things. And that's just a fact.
Mhm.
Have others of you experienced, if you are on X, have others of you experienced similar misinformation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Do y'all want to say more about the types of misinformation you sort of encountered?
I think a lot of the ones that I experienced was with Gaza. And I would literally go into the comments and see people saying, like, no, this is false information. Like, this is the truth, or put a link. It would be, I don't want to speak on exactly what, but I know for sure that I have seen that before, whether it's a video as well, because with the technology these days, it's very easy to, create false or fake things. So.
Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing, Montrese. We're going to move forward just a little bit again, and I'm going to put another poll on your screens. And I want you all to think about which of these comes closest to your reaction to today's political environment. Okay. Give me one moment. Okay. So let's hear from Elgin.
Yeah, I think things are just so terrible. I mean, you can pick any number of issues. Uh, I have a lot of young nieces and nephews. I'm worried about measles outbreaks, the defunding of education, public education, dismantling of the Department of Education, um, deregulation of like environmental stuff that Obama put in and Biden strengthened. A lot of that stuff was targeted at our community. Our communities are oftentimes in places where we're susceptible to more pollution and a lot of these things. It's just across the board. I've talked about the economy on this call. It's terrible. And I think that a lot of people misjudged how serious the last couple cycles were. A lot of us didn't vote or voted for Trump. And I think it's worse than what people imagined. So I think we need to do everything we can to stop it.
What about you, Malik?
Well, yeah, I agree. Like, I think things are super bad currently, and for me, I just feel like I've had thoughts of like, maybe I should leave the country. Like, maybe this is literally like not the place to be. Like it's time to get out. So I chose to just focus on myself and just control the things that I can control. But I feel like that also applies to like fight back, like because I can control my efforts to fight back. And yeah, I just think people are just scared right now, and like things are changing so fast. It just feels like the Constitution is under attack, and like the country as we know it is under attack, and so it's just a scary time right now.
Okay. Let's hear from Jonathan.
Yeah, I said kind of like what Malik said. Just focus on what I can control, but also I was kind of torn between the first and second one because, you still want to fight back and do what you can, but, yeah, it's kind of difficult to really say. You want to fight back where you can, but also you still kind of got to focus on what you can control. Kind of like I think Elgin was saying, like local you know, the local politics and things in our community that we can do, you know, but still be mindful and just watchful as well.
Okay. For those of you who chose B, which is the things that I care about are under attack, and that's why I must focus on myself, my community, and the things that I can control. Do you all think that you should not fight back, or that you really should just focus on yourself? Can you tell me a little bit more about that tension?
For me, I know
I chose,
oh, go ahead,
Let's
sorry.
hear from Montrese and then Jay Sean.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of that. I think with the atmosphere, like kind of back to the police enforcement and taking advantage of the military, that wording just almost like makes me shiver a little bit, the whole fight back and the resist. And so I feel like for me to even fight back, I kind of have to fight for myself and the things that I care about and within my community, whether that's spreading the word, you know, putting together community events just to get more information out. I feel like I would have to do that before. I guess I just wasn't really sure on the definition behind resist and fight back.
Okay. So it wasn't clear to you exactly what it means to resist.
Yeah. And I just put it like in a negative connotation.
Okay. Jay Sean?
well, I said like so far it's like focusing on myself and like my community and like not resisting fight back. I will put it more in the perspective of like kind of how like Elgin said, like as much as we can go out and like save the world, like I have children children as well. I have to be careful. Like I can go out and be trying to protest and be in a crossfire or something. I could be out here trying to focus on myself and not focus on what the world is putting out in the streets. And when my kids get sick, you know, like measles and everything, we have to like, yeah, we can go out and fight, but at the same time, we have to also protect ourselves. You know, it's just like how we were just talking about. Elon Musk covers everything up. You know, they have like the LA Music Festivals going on right now. I don't know if people heard about that, but it's like kind of covered up over social media. But they're really out there like beating on the Mexican people with ice and like it's kind of really terrible right now. And it's like really covered up. Like it's literally called LA Music Festival for a reason because they don't want the world to see it. And it's like, what about the people who have kids at home? You know, the people who have family out of LA who's not seeing it being over the news that there are people out there fighting. You have to really like kind of think about that stuff. So it wasn't like in a sense of not fighting back. It's just more of like you really have to protect home right now. Like it is really
Okay.
important to protect your own community.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that, everyone. We're going to move forward just a little bit. Now I want to talk about political resistance at this moment. What does political resistance look like to you? And also, if you can think about how does resisting or seeing others resist make you feel?
I think for me, it's education, like voter education, helping people understand like how their local politics impacts their lives, and also, just understanding like civics. I feel like a lot of that was lost in this last election, and I agree with a lot of what people said. I'm one of those people that was like, yeah, let's fight back, but I'm also not going to a protest. I'm not putting my body on the line. You know, I'm doing everything but that. And like these white people can do that. So.
Montrese, what does political resistance look like to you?
I think my mind kind of changed on it as Elgin was speaking, because originally it was that negative connotation, kind of like the protests that do end up bad, and I know this is not technically political resisting, but like just resisting police officers, like that whole like theme just comes to mind for me. And what is funny, the Capitol riot too kind of plays a part in that. But I do agree with Elgin as far as like voter education, making sure people are registered to vote, they have all the information around it, making people aware of who the but who the candidates are, what they're fighting for, who's already in office, and what they are currently doing or they're fighting for. I do agree with that 100%.
Okay. All right. And Regina, how does seeing others resist or resisting yourself make you feel?
I would say I wouldn't resist my. I would say I would say that can you like rephrase that question a little bit more?
So yeah, so thinking about, sort of one, like what is political resistance to you, and then how does seeing others resist,
Okay, well,
or
seeing
resisting yourself,
others,
how does that make you feel?
I would say seeing myself um doing political resistance, I would say I don't know, I'm kind of okay with it. Like, they're just fighting for their rights. I mean, white people, they can fight, that kind of thing. So I'm neutral about it.
Okay. What have you all heard about about political resistance against the presidential administration in 2025?
People going to town halls. I see a lot of that. I've been watching a lot of Republican town hall meetings on YouTube, and they're laying those people out. They're very dismissive. Nothing that's being done is not progressive at all. But it gives me great satisfaction in hearing people yell at the local politicians and laying them out. But that and protesting, writing letters to your local politicians and things like that.
I think a big thing we have done to resist in the past that has been effective is watching where we spend our money at and not supporting certain companies, like let's say Target, or like people that have certain political affiliations that we don't support. We can choose to not support them as a company. But even though I know that can get kind of hard, because at the end of the day, you have to still buy food, and you have to still just survive and buy things. But that's a good way to resist as well.
Do you all feel a tension between navigating your everyday lives and trying to resist at the same time? Can I get just a show of hands if that resonates with any of you?
Yeah.
Okay. What else do you all feel should be happening to resist the current administration?
I mean, similar to how the Republican, after in light of like the Jeffrey Epstein, say situation and his association with Trump, the Republicans in the U.S. Senate called the recess early by like a week. They were just like, yeah, we're just not going to participate. We're just not even going to let y'all even put a vote forward for that. I feel like that's a great example of, it's fucked up, but it's like that's a great example of like resisting. Like, we're just not going to participate in the process because we have the majority. When we come back, we're just going to act like it didn't happen, which is exactly what they've done. So I feel like what should be done, or what should have been done, is the Democrats being like, even if we're in the minority, we're not going to participate. We're going to leave. We're going to dip. And yeah, we're just not going to choose to participate, and just see how they work around that.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't been a fan of him in the past, but like some of the stuff I see Gavin Newsom doing, not only like the political action, like trying to change the maps because they're adding seats in Texas, so he's changing it to add seats in California. I think that's an example of kind of what Brandon was talking about, of like Democrats being like caught trying to push the limits, push the envelope, push the rules to the extremes to get the outcomes that you want to defend. I want to see more of that. And again, I don't like Gavin Newsom, and I probably am not going to vote for him in the primary, but I want more Democrats to have that kind of like energy, like, sorry to use this language, but like, fuck y'all. Like, I'm going to troll you. I'm going to push the limits of everything and defend what we have.
Okay. Have you all engaged in any personal resistance? And if you could share what type of resistance that might have been? I know, Ashley, you mentioned you've seen some town halls. Have any of you attended any in your communities?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, sporadically I've attended town halls. Also, when I was much more active in social media and like have my own YouTube channel and podcast or whatever. Sometimes we found out that there was somebody that was like a Nazi or also, had some type of really negative, saying connotation to them. But, we try to report them and, blow up the profile and whatnot. So I'm one of those people. Like you're, saying POS. It's like, I want you out of here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's scary inserting ourselves as Black folks in this resisting, because we already know about martial law. We already know that Trump gives power to the police. We already know that if we go out there with them people, something bad could pop off and then we're in trouble. So we do what we do best. We're just going to sit back and watch, things get done, because it's just, it's too much. We've done so much already.
Okay. Just by show of hands, and please be honest here. How many of you feel afraid to engage in protest? I know some of you have shared sentiment like this. Okay. Or just afraid to resist in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's more of like, I feel like I can't afford to resist. I think that's what it is. Because it's like, no matter how deep I feel about it and how much of a want of like me going out there and doing something or protesting, like whatever it is, I always have this lingering fear of, is my life in jeopardy? Will someone see me and try to report me, whether that's to my job or, like, is that, or my face going viral on the internet, and now am I a target? It's a combination of that. Like I said, I just don't feel like I can afford to.
Okay. Do others share similar feelings as Montrese? Show of hands.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like, I wouldn't necessarily say afraid to do it, but it's like cost and reward. Like, what are you risking? And like, is it really going to get directly what you want out of it? Like, is there a more direct action or another more effective way?
And also, I feel like, like Black people, I feel like we have been resisting. We've been warning people, and we've been doing the work for everybody else. And I feel like if we are to protest, it's like we're always the first ones to get hurt and just suffer the backlash from it. So that's why it's like now it's kind of, we want to just let people fight for us now.
Okay. If I'm hearing what you're all saying, who do you all think should be fighting for you?
White people,
Our
Latinos, especially after the last election.
our politicians.
Yeah, in terms, for me, I feel like this is kind of like answering the question you asked earlier, but it was, the lack of engagement in this last election because of this conflict in the Democratic Party, where the old guard, despite how many L's that they're like taking, and all of us collectively, they still don't want to allow saying the new guard to come in and switch things up, despite how saying popular with ideas and are. So it's like, that's why like our victories, at least in politics, are so like sporadic. For every like one person that comes in and it's like, oh, we could have saying something happen. It's like there's 4 or 5 saying heads that roll, and just like it doesn't allow for saying much to get done. And so it's just this cycle of like getting our hopes up and then getting disappointed, getting our hopes up and getting disappointed. But part of it is a big part of it is a self-inflicted wound.
Okay. Do you all feel that anyone other than politicians should be fighting for you?
Yeah, I think that, I think there's a lot of like just noise and distractions in place that just make everyone feel like we should be divided. Like it's Black people over here and Latinos over here, but I feel like we all should just be together and just like all marginalized people. Like if you are not a white man, rich, straight, like the rest of us should all come as one and realize that we are all being under attack and just fight for each other.
Okay. On that note, do you all feel like, I'm hearing all of you express the sentiment to a desire to want to resist, but feeling like there are barriers to resistance? If you all wanted to resist today, do you all feel like you know how to get involved, or do you have an action that you would do?
I
If
feel like
you
I know how to get involved,
you didn't
but I
perhaps have a fear of backlash, what would be the thing that you would do?
yeah, I live not too far from DC, so there's like a lot of people protesting the federal occupation. So I feel like there's a lot of things on social media that I see that I could get involved in, and I've seen videos of people yelling at folks on U Street. So if I were to get involved, I would do that. But I feel like I don't want to put my body in that space, you know?
Okay. We're going to move forward just a little bit, y'all, in the interest of time, to make sure that we can cover all of the topics that we're going to discuss. What do you all think about what the Black community is doing to resist government actions?
I mean, there's only so much that, like, you know, saying when you're talking about like institutions, organized agencies, you know, saying, and then communities and whatnot, there's always going to be this huge, you know, disparity. There's only so much to do, and part of it is because they're but they want to get a reaction out of anybody that they're trying to, you know, saying like bully. They want to get a reaction, which is this, oh, see, this is the reason why, you know, saying we need to be here in the first place. Is because, you know, saying of all this stuff, you know, saying going on. But it's at the end of the day, I feel that, you know, there is a time and a place, but as frustrating as it, you know, as it can be to see all this stuff happening, we can't just then justify like just popping off at any given time or any, you know, saying we got to be very decisive.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing, everyone, thus far. I'm going to put another question on the screen for you. And I want you to select all that apply, that all the ways that you think represent a good way to resist government actions that negatively impact Black communities. Select all that apply. Does anyone need any more time? All right. Okay. We're going to move forward. Thank you for sharing that. So I want to hear your opinions on some events that others consider to be a form of political resistance in 2025. So as you all may know, in December of 2024, Luigi Mangione, a 27-year-old man from Maryland, shot and killed the CEO of United Healthcare, and apparently calling corporate America parasites for putting company profits over the health and well-being of sick Americans. Actually, my apologies all. We need to go back to the previous poll here. My apologies. And there's going to be another one that I'm going to put up for you.
We need to re-answer this one.
Give me one moment. Okay, so we have another question that I need you to answer. Actually, my apologies, everyone. Give me one moment to get this on the screen for you. So we select all that you think represent a good way to resist government actions that negatively impact Black communities. I'm sorry. These are tactics that you have all done in the last year. My apologies, everyone.
Oh.
You have
I
to
want
resend
you to
it.
select- yeah. So we're gonna,
Oh.
my apologies, everyone. These are tactics that you have done personally in the last year.
Oh.
So even though it's just asking like in a theoretical
Yeah,
way,
but
what
I
they're
want you to-
actually asking.
Yeah. So these are the ones that you both think are a good way to resist, and also actions that you have done in the past year.
Okay.
We have to do it. Okay. Yeah.
In the last year.
I haven't, that's the-
All right. Does anyone need any additional time to complete this this question?
Mm.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna move forward a bit. So if you all remember, I was mentioning that in December 2024, Luigi Mangione, a 27-year-old man from Maryland, allegedly shot and killed the CEO of United Healthcare, calling him corporate America parasites for putting company profits over the health and well-being of sick Americans. Show of hands, have you all heard about this? Okay, so everyone's heard about it. Another show of hands, do any of you consider this an act of political resistance? Okay, so a few of you, for those of you who, Jay Sean, I don't think you raised your hand. Can you tell me a little bit about your thoughts?
I feel like, yeah, we can say it's political resistance because of how many people it affects, but we kind of don't really focus on people having personal reasons behind certain stuff. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with his personal reason behind the money involved of it, not even just on the medical aspect. So for me, it was more like, yeah, it's political resistance because of how many people it affect, but like, in a sense, he had his own personal reasons behind, actually killing him, and like the money being involved and what money was being used.
Okay. And let's hear from Montrese. You raise your hand.
Yes.
That it was an act of political resistance.
I think I'm thinking more of like, I believe he thought it was an act of political resistance. I don't know if it justifies as that, but from his statement and what he was, I don't know what he was exactly trying to achieve, but it felt like he was resisting in a political way.
Okay. All right. In thinking about, so in January and February, Black shoppers began boycotting Target in response to the corporation cutting its DEI programs and backtracking on its commitment to increase Black staff by 20%. And its pledge to invest $2 billion into Black businesses. And Reverend Jamal Bryant was one of the Black leaders who called for a boycott. Since then, Target has lost an estimated $12 billion in value. What have you all heard about this? What do you think about this? I want to hear your thoughts. Brandon?
Yeah. For a long time, one of the things that Target did to distinguish themselves is embracing business women, embracing LGBT communities, the LGBT community, embracing other ethnic minorities and whatnot, and spotlighting their products and everything. And that since Trump got elected and the CEO and whatnot, want to put themselves in the good graces of him, they're like, we're going to be rolling back all this DEI stuff. We're going to be rolling back, seeing all of that stuff. So you immediately alienated a lot of people that you would do business with, as well as a lot of customers. Yeah, so yeah, very familiar with that situation. So another self-inflicted wound.
Okay. Just by show of hands, how many of you consider the boycott of Target an act of political resistance? Just by a show of hands. Okay. How does this all make you feel about taking resistance actions?
It makes me feel like if Black people, if we really omitted our dollars in certain organizations, we could really like make some change in this country, and we can affect our community in a positive way. Because that's just one company, and I don't know if you guys heard, but that CEO of Target, he resigned today.
Yeah, he did.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
He did.
yeah, he resigned today. So if we could like just stick together for some things, if we can all be on one accord, like we can control everything. Because we're the number one consumers, Black folks, the number one consumers. We spend billions of dollars in everything. So that's my opinion. That's how that makes me feel.
Okay. I think for sharing, Ashley. In the interest of time, we're going to continue to move forward, everyone. Again, thank you for your time this evening.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to share some examples of how recent economic events have impacted Black communities. Please read each example, rate it, and we'll discuss each afterward. Okay, so it looks like everyone here expressed a high level of concern. Everyone chose a 10. What have you all heard about this? What do you think your friends and family have heard about this?
Gonna cut jobs. They're gonna cut they're gonna cut pay. You know, my mother is a part of she's a home health aid worker, and so she gets paid by Medicaid, so she's like very concerned if she's gonna lose her job.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
so
kinda-
people are losing jobs, but not only that, but I think like people will directly die from this like policy. Like people will literally not be able to get their medicine or get to be able to put in like emergency care, and it's sad because they literally are like spending like so much money on things like the military or things that don't really matter in terms of like just people's lives are more important than the military. And I feel like they're kind of making this an excuse that there's not enough money to go around, that we have to cut something somewhere. But meanwhile, the spending is like out of control in certain areas.
Okay. Just from a quick show of hands, how many of you have someone in your family who you know will be affected by these cuts? Okay. Just about everyone, with the exception of Brandon and Montrese. Okay, we're going to move forward just a little bit, and I'm going to show you another statement, and I want you to rate it on a scale of 0 to 10, how concerned you are about it. Okay. So I want to hear from you, Ashley.
Well, The reason why I put 3 is because I guess I'm not understanding how 22,000 over a lifetime for a president that's only supposed to last for 4 years. How would that, you know, how would those costs come about? 22,000 over a lifetime if he's only in office for 4 years. I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out for tariffs, because can't the tariffs be amended if a Democratic Party come into office? Yes, that's the only part I was confused about.
Okay. Let's hear from you, Brandon.
Yeah, so I mean, 10 high level for itself may not seem drastic. Part of the reason why it's an issue is because even if like a president is from a different party, it still needs to go through the House and the Senate. And so if those are still in control, or if there's some defectors and everything, it's like that law can continue until like another bill, gets passed. But it's like so many other things need to line up for that to happen.
Okay. How do you think Black people of any kind of work, white collar, blue collar, private, public, or even self-employed, how do you think they are faring due to these tariffs, or how are you faring?
Was that a general question, or was that
both general and about others?
It's just going to make it harder for everybody. I mean, the type of work that I do, I just see that I do a lot of the different like contracting for retailers and whatnot, and it's definitely slowed down quite a bit. There's not getting as many opportunities, and I mean, you can look at any industry at any. Either people are having to pay more for the same services or products, or wait longer for stuff, or stuff is just not available, or they can't hire people, and so many different same problems.
Yeah.
And asking a similar question, how many of you, by a show of hands, know folk in your immediate family who have been personally affected by the tariffs in some way? Let's see, Elgin, Jonathan, Brandon. Okay. All right. For those of you who didn't raise your hands, do you feel that you know a lot about the tariffs and how they're going to affect you and your family?
For me, my understanding is, I guess I'm not raising my hand because I'm like processing it as well. It's like an overall of things that will have an increase, whether that's your groceries or that gaming system you've been waiting to buy. Like, I feel like it actually affects all of us to a degree. And so I'm not sure if this is, I don't know if I'm thinking about it like a trick question. And that's why I'm like hesitant to even raise my hand, but I feel like it has affected all of us, or will worse.
Okay.
I had to think about it because immediately I said no, but it does affect me because I got in a car accident a few days ago. A car had ran into another car that hit me, and dropping my car off at the body shop, they had an acknowledgement letter where you had to sign, hey, you may have to keep your rental car longer, but that's simply because it may take us longer to get the parts.
Yeah.
So that could increase my payments on my end because China has the car parts, and it's got to take them longer to get the car parts. So I got to keep the rental. So things like that. Yeah. So.
Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing, everyone. I'm going to move forward a little bit, and I'm going to show another statement on your screen.
I don't know.
Okay. All All right, just show of hands. How many of you have heard about this? Okay, so just Eldon. So most of you have not heard about this. Okay. So it sounds like many of you haven't heard about this. Having just read about it, let's just a show of hands. How do you all feel that this is particularly concerning?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Gonna move forward a little bit, and I'm going to show you another statement. Give me one moment. Okay. Okay. Show of hands, how many of you have heard about this? Okay, so most everyone. Do you all, just a show of hands, how many of you believe that your family and friends also know about this? Okay. So this seems to be a very widely known issue, you all feel. Okay. I'm going to show you one more example. Well, actually, quite a few more, but one more next up. I want you to do the same, read it to yourself, and score on a scale of 0 to 10. Okay. So it seems that this is all very concerning to you all. Show of hands, how many of you have heard about this issue already? This executive order dismantling the DOE. Okay, I'm going to show you another statement.
Come in.
Okay. So just a show of hands, how many of you have heard about housing, the challenges in the housing market specifically for Black folk?
I heard about it just in general, but yeah.
Okay. Have any of you heard anything specific?
Like in regards to the general topic or from the administration's latest?
From the administration
Okay.
about the housing market
Yeah.
and challenges for home ownership for Black folks specifically?
There's always been that for Black folks prior to this administration, with redlining, with like, for example, there was this couple, they tried to purchase a home and then they had their white friends put their name on the documents for them and they were able to get in, things like that. So that's always been an issue. I don't think this is Trump specific.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Ashley. I'm going to show another statement on your screen. Okay. All right. Show of hands, how many of you have heard about the challenges and changes to the student loan forgiveness program by the administration? Okay. And also show how many of you are personally affected by this? Show of hands. Okay. How many of you have someone in your family who is personally affected by this? Okay. All right, so just about everyone is personally or knows someone in their family who's personally affected by this. Okay. All right. And okay. So I know we talked a little bit about some of these events that I shared. Some of these have impacted you personally. Some of these you've heard of. Maybe it has yet to impact you. And some of these you haven't heard of, but you are particularly concerned by. Just based, if you all can sort of do a little recall, can you share maybe one of the one that stood out to you the most, the one that is most concerning to you?
Just one.
Yes, just one.
That's hard.
I think the Department of Education was very shocking to me. Like when I first heard it, like it's just almost like common sense. Like who gets rid of education? Like, and just to hear about what the department actually does, how it helps disabled people, and just lots of people just get resources and just get a fair schooling, just environment. I was really disheartened to hear that.
Okay. Let's hear from maybe two more of you. The single issue that among those that we, that came across your screen that was most concerning to you. Brandon?
So for a while, I had been like back and forth on the whole DEI thing and how important it is and how much it echoes of, affirmative action. But it was like, as much as they tried to cry foul and be like, oh, this is just elevating unqualified people, it's like never once did I ever hear like one valid case of that. It's the same thing here. It's just another way for them to be like, oh, this is just woke, saying liberal garbage, just trying to, prop up unqualified people, while nearly everybody on their side is underqualified, some type of like drug addict or degenerate. Some of them are literal like child predators themselves, including the president. And yet they're so concerned about if somebody is about telling somebody else about how skilled or knowledgeable they are in their chosen profession when they're not professionals of anything.
Okay. And let's Montrese.
I'm just gonna go with the Medicaid part because that's just the other one. I feel like all of them for me are equally as concerning, maybe not one, but it just feels like that they're trying to get rid of the wise older Black people with that one. And I feel like all of these rulings kind of play a part in that, to where we're either trying to take away Black people's political power or just take away Black people, period, and make it hard for them. So, no.
Okay. All right. Okay. Again, thank you all for sharing. We're almost wrapped up here. So before we just move forward, I want to know, how do these stories make you feel about Black people in the country generally? Or rather, do you all feel compelled to act knowing some of these things are happening and affecting Black people?
Yeah, definitely. It's getting me motivated in the way that, oh, sorry about that, Elvin, but it's kind of like lit a spark up in me where for a minute while Biden was in office and whatnot, it was just like, all right, it's gonna be steady as it goes. And for those that are a little bit more left of center, now we're just back in this fight of like trying to get the centrists to take us, you know, saying a little bit more seriously. But now it's kind of like a hands on deck because they're just firing off in every, you know, saying direction at everybody. So this is also like a prime opportunity for those that genuinely want to push back. It's like now is the moment because everybody has a reason to join in.
Okay.
I feel like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I also feel very motivated, and especially with like informing people about what's going on. I think something that's happening is we're realizing all of these like seemingly little things that the Biden and the Democrats like did that we kind of didn't know about, right? And that's kind of on them to like that they didn't get their message out. They haven't talked about these things. They haven't elevated it, and so it motivates me to make sure folks in my community understand like what's at stake, because this like both sides are the same thing is really powerful. It's really attractive to people mentally, and now we're seeing the result of that sort of false equivalency and like flattening of nuance.
Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing, Eldon. So I'm going to put some questions on the screen again that you may have seen earlier in our conversation, and I'm going to ask you to choose a score that resonates with you. Give me one moment. All right, give me one moment, folks. Apologies. Okay, sorry for the delay, everyone. Just give me 1 second. Okay. All right, so apologies. So we're gonna do this. I'm gonna reread the questions to you all, and I'm gonna have you all just, if you can all, give me 1 second here. We'll just take these down manually. So our first question here, and I'm just gonna put let me see if I can get the question back up here so you all have it in front of you. Give me 1 second, if that's possible. Okay, so thinking about the amount of political power that you feel you personally have on a scale of 0 to 10, I want you all to just share the number with me, and we'll just go one by one. And I want you to just share that number with me. So how much power do you feel you personally have on a scale of 0 to 10? 0 meaning no power, 10 meaning a lot of political power. Let's start with you, Elgin.
8.
Okay, that's an 8. Brandon?
I'm gonna stick with 6.
6. Okay. Jonathan?
I said 5.
5. Montrese?
A 6.
6. Okay. Ashley?
5.
5. Malik?
6.
Okay. Deshaun?
6.
Okay. Regina?
5.
All right. All right. Thank you for that, everyone. And moving forward, so I want you to also think about the amount of political power you feel that Black people have in this country on a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 means Black people have no political power at all, and 10 means Black people have a lot of political power. Let's start again with you, Elgin.
8.
Okay, 8. And Brandon?
I'm gonna say
Okay. Jonathan?
What else? I said 4.
Okay. Montrese?
I'm gonna go with the 8.
Okay. Ashley?
I'll say 9.
Malik?
A 10.
Okay. And Jay Sean?
A 7.
And Regina?
7.
All right. And let's move moving forward a bit. I want you all to rate, think about the actions that you can take personally. Please select the actions that you are most likely to take in the next year. Okay. Looks like someone's audio is on there. Okay, and on a scale of 1 to 10, where 0 means you definitely will not vote, 10 means you will definitely vote, how likely are you to vote in the midterms in 2026? And we're gonna go take this manually. Elgin?
10.
Okay. A 10? Brandon?
10.
Okay. Jonathan?
10.
All right. Montrese?
A 10.
All right. Ashley?
10.
All right. Malik?
10.
Okay. Jayshawn?
10.
And Regina?
10.
Okay. All right. And just by show of hands, how many of you changed your score from the first time we asked that question, if you recall? Okay. All right. Okay. Well, that is all for our discussion. I want to thank you all for your time, and I hope you all have a great night. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Have a
Alright.
good
Bye.